Hello, welcome. Here we are, July 2026,
Mhm.
for Psychosomatic Conversations. Today we send love to Linda. She's on a plane. So it is Christy and I here to play today, and we are starting a new set of three. So we This set of three is all about body symptoms. Back to the body, back to the body. And with a brilliant psychosomatic educational awareness and foundational comprehension for your body. We're often asked for interpretation around what is happening psychosomatically for me. So, in this series, we'll be inviting you to participate and send in questions or to ask questions. So, we ask that the third part of this series is when we're really going to delve into your questions. You are welcome to put some light questions in for today, but there's a lot of foundation that we need to cover if we can get to those. This will go deep and personal, but offer profound insights on how to be with your symptoms and to recognize other layers of awareness, which may not at first glance be seen. Yes, our bodies are talking to us. So today's part one, understanding everyday body signals. Next month, which will be part two, emotional stress and physical symptoms. Dun, 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 dun. And then the part three is when we'll do massive questions and answers. But today, as you listen to the psychosomatic comprehension of how symptoms exist, you'll start to see, or what it'll reveal as you also develop your questions towards your body symptoms. Christy,
All
come and say
right, wonderful.
hi.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being on the call today. This will be a fun conversation in that our intention is to create curiosity. And with curiosity and psychosomatics, I think they go together because psychosomatics is very layered. And as we understand that there's something that's very persistent that can happen in the body, it's natural to want an interpretation and why is this happening and what does it mean? Sometimes, how do I make it stop?
Oh,
And
yes. Make it go away, Christy.
it can go away right now. I do have a wand. It doesn't work like that.
Are you sure?
However, well, I haven't got it to work like that yet.
Okay.
However, so symptoms can be very different. Sometimes they can be physical, they can be emotional symptoms, they could be a nervous system symptom.
Mm.
They can be protective layers that happen within our body and our emotional body. And we're going to talk about the relationship between these layers today as we
Oh, reaction,
interweave.
reaction, reaction.
Yes. And how long is that? And when did it come up? There's so many questions that and contemplation as we look at psychosomatics and how we come into a session, how we would love for you to ask yourself, let
Mm.
alone ask questions to be curious about, oh, I didn't know where that came from or when it first came into my body. Because our
Hmm.
body in psychosomatics is a map and it does hold the memory, it also holds the answers. So if we can create that curiosity to help you ask different questions, that will be helpful to understand your body in a different way.
And also how the primary keys of psychosomatics, which is mind, emotion, body, yes, what we think, what we feel, and how we act, those keys are your absolute go-to in every moment for every symptom. Because some symptoms start from the body upwards, some start from the crown down. So we need to look at those three layers to see how those three layers are interrelated or whether there's conflict.
And conflict shows up many ways.
Yes.
It shows up many ways.
Mhm.
Sometimes it can show up in our voice, it can show up in our body language, it can show up in how we move, and
Mhm.
especially contraction and where it's contracting.
Yes.
Very
And
important.
if you had a contraction in your physical body, how might you experience it, Christy?
Say that again, Sean.
If you had a contraction in your physical body, how would you feel that?
Well, what it would feel like is for me, when I get stressed, I will clench my jaw. So that would be a physical
Uh-huh.
contraction.
Got it. And if you had an emotional contraction, what would that be like?
That can be a palpitation in my heart,
Hmm.
anxiety, sometimes a
Uh-huh.
stirring in my belly, like feeling nauseous.
Yes, got it.
Both of
And
those.
and if you had a contraction mentally, how would I know I've got one?
I would keep looping in my brain and going over the scenario again and again and again and dissecting the scenario and then dissecting it again and asking 50 people what they think about the scenario.
And the monologue will usually um, have a scope of limitation around it.
Yes. Yes, because the loop doesn't see any
Oh,
insight.
that's good, Erin. I'm so glad you don't.
Yeah.
Lucky you. So our symptoms are certainly a reflection of many different layers, yeah.
Yeah. And they're very real.
We have to keep coming back to these primary layers. So
Hmm.
if my monologue is doing strange things, then my brain is conflicted. If my emotions are erratic, then my mind is forcing itself down over that emotional body. And then the physical body races off in all of its different tangents.
Hmm.
Yeah, because we're reacting to what's currently existing within us rather than interacting
And
with what's in
sometimes that
us.
can be years of running, years of that contraction.
Uh,
And I think the coolest part about our bodies is that it does let us know eventually if we learn how to
yes.
listen. And part of our whole intention with this podcast is to teach you how to listen in a different way. And I would say also ask different questions about what
Mm.
is happening within those layers.
And it's also when we recognize that the conference table needs all three to be aligned in order to enable a safe transition, then we
Out
can
of
kind
that
of
pattern.
start to pinpoint, right? We can, it gives us a greater concept. Yes. So often our bodies will tell us when our minds are off on a different scope
Mhm.
by causing contraction in order for us to feel, to restore.
Yeah, and some if we talk a little bit more about the physical layer, Sean, you talk about
Mm,
contraction. I would
mm,
add insomnia to that.
Mm-hmm.
I would add hormone imbalance to that.
Mm.
Sometimes injuries happen
Yes, they
out of the
do.
blue.
Yes.
Um, Inflammation, prolonged inflammation, which can create all kinds of issues
Oof.
over time, all physical. And then we even look at structural issues over time as well.
Yep.
So they're
Because
all things
we
we
need
have.
to we need to consider the body systems to locate where and how that constriction is running.
Yeah, very important with psychosomatics
Mm.
is the
Which
where.
part of me is steering in which direction,
Hmm.
and which part
Yeah.
of me is resisting?
Yeah. And have you ever, when I noticed that, Sean, I've had different times in my life where I've felt an internal battle with my what my heart wants to do and what my mind wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
And if I let that continue without resolving it, it
Ah.
creates the biggest mess internally. It just starts to accumulate and accumulate and yeah, and then eventually something will that message like heart palpitations or insomnia start paying attention to those pieces to then
Yeah.
access what is going on, what is happening that isn't being acknowledged.
I call it a top-down issue. It's kind of like my brain is having its preference to its leadership quality or direction, which isn't considering my innocence, which is my heart.
Hmm.
And it gets very bossy, and the heart gets very upset.
Yes. I often hear the phrase, I've already done that. Why is it back? And
Yeah, I washed the dishes yesterday and they're back again today.
yeah, yeah. And there's that gentleness of not having the mind. For me, that's overriding when wanting to make it go away, and yet the symptom is stronger than the mind.
Yes. Yes, the symptom commands understanding. The
Yes.
symptom has a purpose. The symptom has a reason. Um, it's like the symptom is uh, the first essential point of understanding.
Hmm.
The symptom beckons us. Um, and how are we relating? Yeah. Relating is the key to each of these spaces, each of these aspects of ourselves. And I, for one, have needed to learn many diverse ways of relating, not just one way of relating.
Mm, I have to, especially when I notice my nervous system as one of the symptoms. For me, having that be a message to me to not let it continue to the point where something breaks,
Ah,
because sometimes that has. And like if I notice I'm being hyper vigilant about something, that's such a key to me, or feeling frozen and I feel like I can't move. That relationship to understand that for me and move into a different way of relating has been the most helpful thing to learn within psychosomatics because it also shows up physically in my body in a contraction. And so it begins to layer on itself. And it's such an intelligent process. And for me, the more that I can be gentle with that movement that comes in if my nervous system gets activated and then I'm contracting, to be much more gentle than I used to be. I'm so much better at it. Much more gentle at, okay, what is there that needs to be seen or resourced or acknowledged that I am
Mm,
running from or frozen and not wanting to do anything.
reacting to
Yeah.
the presence of something, the
Yeah.
presence of something inside of us. And it's what I've learned across time is how am I approaching what my body is experiencing as a disturbance? Yes, it might be a mental irritant, it might be an emotional distraction, or is it a physical discomfort? And how am I approaching it? Yeah, how I approach myself through the psychosomatics has profoundly changed my discomfort in the living experience.
Mm,
Because my ownership of this body, my vehicle, my sacred vehicle, my ownership of this body um, and the requirements of care by being gifted a physical body and my enthusiasm to that care for its flexibility, for its strength, for its encapsulation of who I am, for its sheer existence enables my adventure in reality.
mm,
I used to think the body was an accessory. No, it's the other way round. I'm the accessory
mhm.
to this
It's a good way
body.
to look at that.
The condition of this body filters and frames the life I live.
Yeah, most definitely.
Mm.
Most definitely. And have you noticed, Sean? Because when I first started psychosomatics, I had no idea what I was starting. In that I had thought, because I had done a lot of work, I had done different types of modalities and therapy. And I remember the first time I went to class, and my teacher at that time had said, she looked at my feet and how my feet, I tended to raise my toes when I would get anxious, for example. And I remember thinking, why does that matter? And the longer I live and the more I've practiced, it's so key to why does that matter? Because it's a signal to me, a psychosomatic signal that I need to pay attention to come back into my body. So I'm not moving too fast because I have done that and fallen, broken a foot, like things like that, the force to slow down. I
Mm.
do believe that our the intelligence of ourselves and our body is constantly in relationship with us.
Mhm.
And
Yes, the repetition, relate, relate,
mhm,
relate.
yeah,
And how to occupy this flesh vehicle, right? How to, we see a static movement on stage, performance, how to occupy and engage each movement that occurs inside of our body? What is my participation with each little movement that I'm making? What is it in, how am I informing myself? How am I informing others?
Mhm.
How am I enjoying the existence of flesh on earth?
It's a beautiful question to ask.
Yeah. So often we're in reaction to our flesh, um, based on history, based on experience, based on how my body or that body has been interacted with. And yet, all of those experiences show me how I long to have my body approached.
Mm.
And I'm approaching it in every breath I have. This is me, this is mine, before the outer world even sees or touches me or hears me.
And that's a beautiful introduction to what trust is, Sean.
Ah, good
So,
one, Christy.
well, I also hear that so much, and I completely can relate to
Mm,
that. Is
mm,
when I hear I don't trust easily,
mhm,
what my ears hear is, okay, let's cultivate some trust within your own system because it is your navigator.
mhm,
And as you learn to trust your own body, your system, the layers that we're talking about, it begins to expand that level of trust.
mhm. What is trust to you, Christy? What is
Trust to
trust to
me,
you, right?
yeah, it is. It's that stillness within my system to trust the mind and the heart before I really make a movement because it comes
Mhm,
into coherence for me when there is trust and choice involved. There might be a little bit of sometimes nervousness, but that doesn't mean anything other than that. But when I have both my heart and my mind working together, that is trust for me.
mm. And and also for me, trust is something that's incremental. So therefore, it has different stages to it. And trust is also my, to me, is my experience of a nurturing, encouraging authority that has my most magnificent universal needs insight.
That's well said, Sean.
Yeah.
Well
So
said.
it's kind of like I trust trust is something that becomes a framework that has been adopted as a child and the environment that was offered. And that default actually isn't what trust is. It's a it's been an expression of what others have portrayed as trust. Yet trust is beholden to my responses or my needs that weren't met,
Yeah.
and therefore I'm asked to meet them. And my body needs to be able to trust me. And I trust it.
Yeah. And that is the work of relationship with self and
Well, it
relationship with
creates
our bodies.
formation,
Yeah.
right? And you might have trust with some parts of your body, but you might not have trust with other parts of your body. That's because growing up, you had trust in some aspects of life, but not all aspects of life. So to create embodiment, yes, the invocation of becoming the body, invoking the body, um, my body requires a particular approach and tone of encouragement that enables a light-footed movement forwards.
Mm.
Savannah's just put in there, I feel that because of childhood illness and serious surgery, I became a friend of my body, a separate
Mm.
awareness, and cheerleader of sorts. Nice. And that's also you filling the gap, Savannah. That's you coming into the awareness of what your personal needs were and you fulfilling that space
Hmm.
for any shortfalls of the environment. Relating is something that is just so precious.
It is an understanding how to relate. Because, yes,
Mhm,
it is. And I think like some of the questions that come to my brain is with that relating and in inherited patterns of there's many people who, if you ask, what do you need? That say, I don't know. I don't know.
mhm,
And that's a point, or the body, another belief or layer with that is I can't let anyone down. And so the
mm,
pushing and the pushing, or I'm not enough. All of that continues to percolate until we begin to relate to it and ask more questions about where does that belief come from, which is what you're talking about, Sean.
Yeah, because there's an isolation that happens there, right? I'm under-resourced.
Yes.
Yes, I'm unable to let certain resources into who I am in order to fully experience myself. So there's a freeze pattern that happens there, right? There's an isolation that's going on rather than an allowance of all that the universe has to offer for us and learning how to invite that in. Yes, invite that in.
And so
Yeah.
how
So
would you
often I
give
find
an
myself
example?
in a symptom.
Give
Hmm.
an example of inviting it in.
Oh, there are so many examples. So so many examples. Oh my goodness. Um, for example, I went and had body work myself this week. And as a giver of a lot of body work, I don't often allocate enough time to receive myself. And in receiving, I of course come into contact of layers of myself that
Mm.
that as they're encouraged to open, there's a part of me that's in resistance to the opening of that. Right? So I've already been operating on a limited system
Yeah.
rather than a fully open system. And
Which
my
is very human.
process of letting go across time has certainly eased. And when I say that, I'm referring to the experience, the physical, visceral experience of something changing from rigidity to softness. And how, for a mind that has been holding that pattern, the mind is the only one that actually finds it, I'm going to use the word offensive, because it feels like it's being um, rearranged, because it is being rearranged
Yeah.
to experience the openness, which is the vulnerable part of being open. Yes, the vulnerable part of the existence of living, that life moves in through me and out, in through me and out, in through me and out.
Mhm.
And I need to be in contact with multiple dimensions and layers of all that it has to offer, not my brain's concept of its preferred vehicle of choice.
Yes, and I think that it's one of the most important things is to get worked on or experience some type of um like even sound bowl or breath work, or I did a cacao ceremony a week ago, for
Mm,
example, and I realized very different but the same how much was running in my mind. And
mm,
the beautiful piece was in the slowing down and the allowing of noticing the relationship that I've created and I continue to create. Let me be really clear because it's taken some time. Is the allowing of tears to move through me without
mm,
apology, without embarrassment. And for me, it's the most beautiful release of tension in my body. And and I don't need to question it, I'm learning to question less. I tend to cry a lot anyway, however, and this was a release of, oh, that felt good. And for me, that is also a relating part to put myself in situations that I can become curious in a different way that I've never done. And even with body work, to have someone else in your space, on your working on your body, there's so many things we get used to not noticing, like our toes or our feet or under our rib cage. And then it becomes unlocked. We're relating better to our body. And then we go, oh, I can breathe better. Oh, I'm taller. And our voice changes. And there's so many different ways to create this relationship in a deeper way to become more intimate with ourselves.
mm. It's a connection, a reconnection.
Yeah.
Yes. Same as relating, the repetition of coming to meet something and staying there.
Mm.
Yes.
Giving your
There
space.
being the
Sure.
body, staying there. Yes. Remaining in the body is where the pleasure point lives,
And
rather than a task, rather than um, meeting compulsions, is existing pleasurable.
It's a
as the
beautiful question.
connection that I am is existing pleasurable.
Hmm. I think we could use a lot more pleasure in this world. And
It comes in many forms.
that's a great big container.
Pleasure, pleasure to each is also something very specific. But yes,
Yeah.
it's absolutely, I agree. And it's, and I'm, for me personally, when I'm achieving a task, I need it to be fun. I need it to be light. I need it to be pleasurable. If it becomes too constricted or too mental, it just feels too difficult and it sucks all the pleasure out of it.
Yeah. Well, and hence, I'm sure you've noticed this in the past, Sean, that the pattern of that, because we're looking at patterns in psychosomatics, if you tend to stay in the mind and try to force an outcome or force or have an attachment to an outcome and it becomes not pleasurable, not fun, not playful, it becomes really stressful over time. And I also think a lot of times that's also a learned pattern.
Correct. I agree.
And
Totally agree.
being aware of the pattern and education is awareness. That is what we're doing.
Hmm.
To be curious of when you overthink and try to force something, could you could you do something playful and come back to it?
Mm. Yes, authority enforcement.
Yes, because
Yeah.
we are
How
that.
people have forced us into things rather than encouraged us into things.
Mm. We get to choose what that is.
Yeah.
I think that's the lovely part of that.
Mm. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And some people, I've met many people across time and space that even the implementation of fun um, is obscure for them,
Yeah.
which only shows us the minimal contact of that content
Mhm.
in their original formation. You know, dance, play, inspire. Um, some people have not experienced childhood in that manner.
So
And
true.
therefore, there's a, therefore, it's like we're needing to create a concept that may seem foreign, yet also essential. Because if I'm unable to create the framework of pleasure, um, how will I experience pleasure?
Exactly. Exactly. And there's so many different ways to do that.
Yeah, totally.
And
Totally. But of course, we keep going back to the framework. Yes. What am I thinking? What am I feeling?
yeah.
And what is my behavior? What is my interaction? What is my physical response to that?
Yes, and start to keep track of it a little bit so you can develop that relationship. Notice what your body does. I really encourage you through the month in this three series parts that we have is to notice your body when you have an activation. Where do you notice the contraction, if there is one? And or
If
sometimes
you sense one,
if you sense one, do you get insomnia? Are you pacing? Are you working more? Are what is your go-to when there is
are
an
you repelling
activation?
others? Are you
Yeah, repelling others, that can happen
needy?
too. That's important to know
Mm,
because when we're talking about a symptom, like in the very beginning of psychosomatics, all of those inquiries are relative to help uncover the thread that's being held that wants to be seen or acknowledged or spoken or felt. It's so important to ask more questions about when does it show up? How does it show up? What do I do? Some people can get really angry that it's back. Is that one of the things that comes into your awareness? This is about relating, and only you can do that as a human being because we're all very different in how we relate to ourselves.
Mhm. And and we are an evolving soul. So we may have comprehended an experience and an understanding something that may have been quite essentially a situation that has really absorbed so much of our entire being, and we've needed to come back out from that. But there are cycles. We are evolving, right? Just because I complete something doesn't mean that there isn't an upgraded version of that for me to attend to later. And
Yes.
they're the things that we need to be grateful for because they're the cycles that we're here to comprehend, whether our brains want to or not.
Right.
It's here. Oh, my living existence. That's right. Oh.
Yes, until you're not, right? We are that until we leave the planet.
Yeah.
We're always, not always. The
Uh,
intention is to expand
yes.
and grow and create room for more relationship with self and our bodies and our emotional self.
I know, right? And yet people get so hung up on the transport of a symptom. Like,
Yeah.
like they have a reaction to a symptom about they shouldn't be having this, or I can't have that, or oh, so and so's experiencing that. That's so unfair. That's, that's horrific. How can we alleviate that? How can we remove that? When sometimes symptoms are an essential part of our story that
Mhm.
internally, we can't necessarily fully comprehend how somebody is completing something by having a symptom. This isn't about living a life without symptoms. Having symptoms is a physical experience of being human. Welcome to cells,
Absolutely.
right? And these cells are mine, and some of these cells have borrowed things from others that I accepted the cells from. And therefore, I've got other introductions going on inside of me as well. Suddenly, I'm the owner of the lineage of a uniquely cellular experience that no one else on this planet is having. Yes? Even if I have siblings, they're having a different cellular experience to what I'm having.
Yeah.
So, are you relating to your cellular system?
And
Are you
that is a
enabling it?
practice. Yes. I would even say when you notice your resistance, that's relationship. That's
There's just
relationship.
there's just a few notes here. So Pam has put in, I believe sometimes we forget what fun truly is when we're involved with other problems. I totally agree. Then when you have a moment of fun, you question what this feeling is that you're experiencing, and it feels good, but just slightly cautious of this feeling. I know, right? It's called foreign. I had a massive trauma in my life and had to shut down so many things in order to function. And about a year and a half after the fact, maybe even 2 years, I went, oh, there's a strange feeling here. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. What is that feeling? Oh my goodness, what am I going to do? It turns out it was hope. So I had gotten used to living a hopeless existence.
Yeah.
And then suddenly my repair had brought to a point where hope was able, like, there was a part of my system where hope was possible. Like, there was something beyond this living moment that's called future. And hope re arrived again. And it's like, oh, wow, that's, and it is scary. Like, it was scary. Like, what is that feeling? It's going on. Just been getting along for my life.
Exactly. And sometimes,
Jackie,
Sean, people
yeah,
will,
go.
sometimes I hear, I can't let that part go away because then I won't know what to do.
Oh.
And that's exactly what I'm hearing. You use the word hope because there was an expansion as you said something very traumatic happened. I'm assuming that that also created something else in you to not be so serious, for example, or not push so hard or whatever that was for you.
Well, I needed to remove all sense of power because power felt like it was going to crush me. So I deactivated most things so I could just get by. Because if there was too many, um, if it felt like that the world needed more of me, there wasn't any more to give. So I needed to really minimize life, or else it would just crush me further because I was already in a devastated place.
Yeah.
So it was a matter of power started to come back online and I had to recreate my conversation with power. I had to, because power had destroyed me, therefore I needed to recreate an entire new experience and relationship with power. So we were best friends. Yeah. Because power had completely obliterated me, therefore it was an enemy, right?
Mhm.
Because that hurt. Um, and therefore I have to let power back in again. I'm like, oh my God, here we go. So that was really, really scary stuff.
Yeah. It can be very scary.
Jackie, I became my own authority. Oh, I can't move that box. There's a box in the way and I can't quite. I became my own authority. There's a word there that says THR something. Um, Imposed, experienced, parental authority that was there and carries on to survive. Becoming more aware of relaxing that in myself, less rigid, let it go.
Mm.
Yeah, because we have this atmosphere um that becomes habit and it's kind of like this is just crazy, crazy, right? Um the atmosphere that we believe we need to initiate in order to exist, rather than what atmosphere would be the perfect atmosphere for me to exist.
I love that question.
Yeah, that's the key. What is the atmosphere for my soul and its entirety and eternal sense of self, for it to exist inside of me in its entirety and all of its universal connections.
Yeah.
A brain cannot concept that, right? It's a feeling sensation. And that feeling sensation is what opens us. It opens us into our body, it opens us into our universal connection, it opens us into life. so life can come in, express itself. I can experience it fully, and I can deliver that back to the world
Yeah.
in ways that serve. In ways that serve.
Yes. And in that expansion is pleasure and play and fun. That's a
Oh,
beautiful,
totally. It's an adventure.
yeah, it is an adventure. Our life is that.
Yes, my brain does not get to um, translate it and tell me what it is. Yes, my brain gets to receive what it all offers, but it doesn't get the opportunity to diminish my experience.
Mm,
Oh, Erin. Yes, love this. What is the most nourishing environment for me to fully express and expand into the truth of my essence and my very existence?
beautiful question, Aaron.
Woo! There it is.
Yeah. And I
There it
think
is.
that ebbs and flows
Inside my
question.
body.
Yeah. So beautiful.
Inside my body. So your symptoms are your friends, everybody.
Not your enemy.
There are many symptoms I've had that my brain may not have wanted, um, yet the universal path of expansion could not have occurred without those experiences,
No.
for which I am eternally grateful.
Mm.
Yeah, some of which had turning points of, should I leave? Should I leave? And yet here I am, right?
And here you are. Yeah.
Yeah, life is through. It's thorough,
Yeah.
yet life is through.
And
Gotta
I
let it.
love that. Sean, I love how you say that. It creates, if we can look at through as doorways,
Yeah.
that we're not stuck, we're not going to be in this place forever. And that's inviting in curiosity about the symptoms so we can move through
And when we know
symptom.
that we can experience something that is so ghastly horrific
Yeah.
and survive and
Yeah.
thrive, then whatever my body asks me to experience is totally fine by me.
Mm. Trust again.
And the brain, poor brain, it just gets so terrified, right? It gets terrified of whatever it is that we might have to
Yeah.
experience. And it's kind of like if we're just stationary for just enough time to allow ourselves to experience it, um, it lives, moves, educates, expands, and then the next thing comes along. Thanks, Gail. Love your little toot.
This has been a fabulous conversation, Sean,
Ah, I love
about
it.
symptoms. Makes it less heavy when we're laughing and having fun with something
Oh,
that can be so serious and so many
oh,
avenues we can go down.
oh
So
my God.
it was
Compressed
very pleasant.
matter.
Yeah,
Compressed matter.
it was
It's so
very
boring.
fun. I did want to say in the beginning, Linda is with her mom.
Mm.
She wanted to ask us to excuse her, which we did, and we miss you, Linda. She'll be
Yes,
she'll be back next month,
absolutely.
and so will
Absolutely.
we. Probably laughing again. One gift you bring is laughter into my life, and I so appreciate that. Mm.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Thanks, Savannah. Clapping and cheering.
So thank you.
Yay! Sparkle
I'll
hearts.
see you next
Love
week
it.
or next month.
Everybody's learning all the reactions. There's a whole list of them, isn't there?